Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Morning, friends.
Thanks for coming today. This is my brother, Kale.
I'm Kale, Walch.
And I'm Aubry.
Yeah. Hey, we're some pioneers. I don't know if some of y'all played the Oregon Trail game back there, but before you embark on any journey, you want to be generally prepared, right? You take food, you take oxen. When we started our journey, we didn't have either, because the oxen part's not vegan, and a lot of the food wasn't either. So, yeah, we started with basically nothing. Tell them how nothing we had.
Yeah, neither Kale or I graduated from college. We didn't really have a business background of any kind, but we knew we really liked animals.
That's right. And what we had a dream, and all pioneers gotta have an end goal, or else the journey doesn't really come into focus. So we knew the stuff we wanted to make. We knew we didn't have any learning, but we had some creative recipes that we developed over time that sucked at first, but got a lot better. This is a goat. So yeah, when we first started, we were both working really, really bad jobs. I was a really bad server, and Aubry was a very good bookkeeper.
Yep.
Yeah, and we pooled our money and decided...
Well, Kale was still in college at the time.
Yeah, I creatively dropped out.
Yep. And the idea kind of started because when I'm like so much older than Kale, 100 years older.
She's like an old friend.
So I feel like I never actually became an adult because I was waiting so long for him to turn 21. Finally, he did. But when he was young and when he was 15, I said one day, we were like walking out of a family meal, and I said, we should own a business together someday. And he kind of walked away and was like, okay, sure, sister. But then he became vegan, and I asked him, do you want to do something?
Do you want to drop out of college
and
start a business? I was like, heck yeah.
Our first idea was to open a restaurant because we had all of these, vegan meat products that we were making for ourselves. There's us with animals again. And we've looked at the failure rate of restaurants and
pretty
thought,
high.
Let's not do that because we don't have any knowledge of how to do this.
Yeah.
So, and then it was kind of a joke.
Yeah, with lots of good ideas. It started with drinking, and I wasn't even there that night. No, I was there.
You were there.
I was there. I was like, well, what if we started a vegan butcher shop? And we're like,
everyone laughed.
And we're still laughing. That's the best part. But we pooled our money. It took me a very long time to save up money because I was a very bad server. But we started this little booth at the farmer's market. And, we had some pretty basic setup. We had a few grass rabbits in there in our cooler. And
we have an Amish-made butcher block.
Yeah.
You can see here. We started at Kindred Kitchen, which was an incubator kitchen. I'm not sure if they still are really, but they used to have really awesome classes for new food businesses. And so Kale and I went and took some classes. I even dragged him to see some woman venture stuff.
Yep.
That was fun.
That's true. And when we were starting out, we were optimistic. And, every day we would get up and tell ourselves that our stuff is the best in the world, even if it wasn't true at the time. But we told ourselves that, and it made getting up at 6 in the morning every Saturday and Sunday to go to the farmer's market pretty easy, And we had sort of a creative approach to marketing, It was just us, just a few friends making some vegan meats and memories. A lot of businesses these days, sort of hide behind their brand, and that's easy to do, It's nice to have nice branding, but...
It's easy to do unless you're at the farmer's market and you're standing in front of the table every single day.
That's true.
And Kale would put on a really fancy suit.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was on purpose, but I think it was a style at the time.
Yeah, it was a suit that I had from a presentation in 3rd grade. Still fits. It's okay. But we did a Kickstarter campaign. It went pretty well. And then Jimmy Fallon mentioned us on The Tonight Show after the campaign, of course. Didn't help us. Yeah, so at this point, we're probably like a quarter way through the Oregon Trail, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're past the winter. Now comes the cholera. Yes.
Well, with everything we did, we kind of had to get creative, how to get people interested in a vegan butcher shop idea. So instead of calling our food vegan meats or vegan cheeses, we called them meat-free meats or cheese-free cheeses, mostly because I think it confused people. And like, what is it? They didn't know. And Kale used to stand in front of the part of the sign that says meat at the farmer's market, so people would just see the words free meat. And they would just flock to the table. You know, and some people would walk away and say, "Oh, is that venison?" We're like, "Is it vegan?"
The venison is silent. But, you know, over time we developed a bunch of different products. You know, sort of working off of bases that we made. Like we got all kinds of ribs. Aubry's the sausage master.
Yeah.
We got like 20 different sausages in the case, and yeah, we just kind of made things that we liked.
It started out really as a lump of seitan. It just looked like a lump. It tasted like a lump too, but over many, many years, the lumps turned into ribs, and then they turned into steaks, and then they turned into sausages.
They turned into this.
And then here's a steak.
No, it's not a steak.
That's not a steak.
That's not a steak.
This is us.
Yeah, and yeah, we took some creative approaches. We took some liberties on the path. We're doing an advertisement for a vegan beer and a food fest out in the West Coast. We did a little Portlandia skit.
So this is Bob and Debbie.
Yeah.
Introducing the food from Minnesota.
Yeah, that went well. Anyway. Yeah, we started the shop in January of last year, and since then, it's been a wild ride. I mean, every day we're putting out different fires, different shaped fires, different colored fires, and yeah, it's been interesting trying to continue to spread the word about our stuff without, you know, losing the integrity of it. You know, still small batches, just many more painful small batches. And some big batches, like this massive
really
sub.
Big sandwiches.
Yeah.
And when we first started the business, we had to be really creative because we didn't know how to do everything. So we really had to trust in all the people that we brought onto our team. And when we first started bringing people on, we're like, well, what do you think about how to do this? Or a lot of people were a little bit hesitant. So like, you know, our bosses have never asked us how to do things before. You know, and I think that's something that, as a person who's been an employee for so long, I have this like weird employee complex still where I still need a boss. So it's, you know, Aaron or Ryan here, or Laura, you know, I have a lot of bosses that work with us. But, you know, we have to ask everyone how to do things because you got to learn. So that's kind of how we do business.
Yeah. And now that we're, you know, we're still on the Oregon Trail in the business, but you know we're getting a little bit more comfortable. We're getting some people on our wagon, you know, and it's sort of a different approach to business that we've taken. We treat our employees like our best friends. They are our best friends. We don't get out very much. Thank you. Yeah, and it's sort of, you know, co-creating with them, and it'd be dumb of us not to, you know, take inspiration and draw from the creativity of the people that we work with. You know, people know so much, and here's a picture of that.
This was our space when we first started building it.
Yeah.
That's kind of another thing that we had to get really creative with when, you know, with our architect, Ken Kunze from Pedal Lab Design. He's here today. He's actually the person who first walked up to our farmer's market stand, and aside from all of our customers who said, you know, you should really open up a brick and mortar because we're tired of you selling out every day, Ken walked up to the table and said, you should build a store. We're like, oh my gosh, what? No, we shouldn't do that. And then he built our first store for us, and he had to get really creative when he went downtown because insurance companies and the city didn't understand a vegan butcher shop. They just heard the words butcher shop.
So we're technically a savory bakery.
Yeah. to explain ourselves to the city and stuff, so they don't get confused thinking we're going to have a lot of blood dripping out of our store on a regular basis.
Yeah, but small business is like it's like waking up every day knowing that something's probably going to go wrong, and you gotta learn to think on your feet. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons game where your party is always trying to burn everything. I don't know if anyone gets that joke, but
he's writing his D&D campaign right now.
I'm in the thick of it right now. They just burned down a forest. That was supposed to be a dungeon. Anyway, and
this is our grand opening day. January 23rd, 2016.
Yeah, and since the beginning, our customers have driven us. I mean, they told us early on which products sucked. We don't have those products anymore. They suck. They convinced us to leave our crappy jobs and start a shop. They stood outside in 20 below weather to see the grand opening. So we're really nothing without them, and the business is it's interesting because it's sort of it's like a grassroots thing. Like we all started this thing together, and we all grow together, and hopefully we get to Independence Rock together. Is that the final stop in Oregon Trail? I don't know.
We're activists trapped in a business's body, so we like to try and blanket good things in business.
You got 46 slides on here.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Well, let's get through Guy Fieri real quick. You haven't lived till you've been to Flavortown, folks. My heavens.
Kale and I both tried really hard not to look at him as he walked in and ripped his shirt off in the store. Just we averted our eyes, so we didn't turn to stone.
That was bad. Yeah, this was like dysentery hitting your whole family in the Oregon Trail. We did some of these things.
This is our Rabbi Alitsky. Some of you don't know we're a kosher facility, so our rabbi got us into the Twin Stadium because we're a kosher product.
Yeah.
And we love him.
And we got this cool booth that was done with branding by Knock. What's up, Amanda?
What?
Hey. All right. Yeah, and as time goes on, we've had to continue to adapt and evolve. Just kind of manifesting our social awkwardness into social media. It's like modern alchemy, really. Here's some statistics. You don't need them. Here's a pig.
Zeus.
Cool. Well, speaking of pioneering, why don't you tell them about...
This is a spaceman. We got a phone call one day from... he wasn't an astronaut. What is his title? I forget what his title is, but he's works with astronauts, and he's part of the Mars mission program, and from NASA, and they called us and said, we want to use your food for the Mars simulation, and if it goes well, then we'll use it on the Mars mission, and if all of that goes well, it'll be the food that is on the space station, because the idea is that if we colonize outer space, we won't have animal products there. So we sent a number of meals with NASA. They've frozen them for a little over a year now, and the Mars mission will be, I think it's August of next year. So astronauts will be consuming our foods, our goods.
That's true. Let's see. Let's keep going. There's some stuff here.
Kale doesn't like to look at my slideshows before we do this.
46 slides, that's a lot to get through. So now, as the future continues, I mean, like I said, we're continuing to adapt, but it's tough when you don't want to sell out. I don't want to say Seth from Tofurkey sold out. He's still a cool old guy, but he's in a lot of places now.
He is. We went to a party with him, and he put a bunch of truffles in his pocket in the same way that we did, so we knew we were kindred spirits.
Yeah, so along the trail, along your Oregon Trail, it's good to venture out, it's good to do that, but as long as you don't lose yourself in the process or lose, who you were when you started the journey. Like, we're still the same freaks that we were when we started, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We try to change. So yeah, it's good to know where you've been, and you can't forget where you want to go, or else you don't know where you are, unless you have Google Maps. Then you have an idea. Here's a picture of some people that you like.
We get to sometimes make food for people that we really like. We got to make food for Paul McCartney. That was pretty fun.
We got very creatively drunk before we saw Paul McCartney. And
Yeah, they made us wait in the green room for a very long period of time.
Yeah.
But he really liked the food, and
Yeah.
then he sent us this picture, and we couldn't put it on the internet. So my dad took a picture of it with the plastic bag over it. So
there you go.
that's what that is.
Yep,
And then, there's also John Sally. That's fun.
that's true.
He's really tall.
Yeah. We're also starting a farm sanctuary eventually. That's another aspect of our business that's very important to us since the start.
Yeah, we have 3 pillars to our business. It's sustainability, animal rights, and human health. And so as I said, we try to blanket it in just good food.
Yeah.
We kind of figure that it's going to be really hard to help change the world by yelling at people, so we do it through people's stomachs. And we try to do it in a friendly way, and we kind of poke fun at ourselves as much as possible, hence the big cleavers and stuff. But it's a way to get people to look at what you're trying to do without really just screaming it at them.
Yeah, that's right. This is our best looking butcher. His name is Jacob. Yeah, you should tell him about it.
About our best looking butcher?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So with our vegan butchers in our kitchen, everything is handmade, and that's really, really important to us. It tastes better, and everything is spot checked, and every day our butchers come up with new plans. One of them yesterday was trying to come up with a chipotle turkey, which I haven't heard of before, but he's going to try it, and it's probably going to be really good.
He's yeah. He tries.
Ribeye steaks are hand formed. We figured out how to make a dough that simulates fat. It'll also drip, when you're putting it on a grill, it'll drip into the coals and come back up into the meat in the same way that an animal steak would. All of our cheeses are hand stirred by this guy
It hurts so good.
right now. Lots of cranial sacral therapy and arm massages.
Psychologists.
So we have to get really creative to try and figure out how to make his arm not fall off.
Yeah, and yeah, as we grow in size, it's also a very, very interesting battle how to keep the small batches when so many people are poking at us to make more of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're still figuring that out.
Yeah, as we grow, people keep telling us that our business model isn't going to work. You can't have people making your food. You have to have machines making your food to be successful, because you make more and then it's all the monies. And we don't really see it like that, because, the people that work for us in our kitchen feed off the customers that come into the store. And it's super important that everyone is together in this space. There's a lot of really good energy in there. And putting people in a warehouse it would lose everything. And so we have this weird business model, like I said, that people say won't work, but it's worked so far, and we'll continue to figure out a way to
Sorry.
Thanks. Yeah. To make that work. So we're true to our mission, and we're true to the people that have been with us since the beginning, including our customers, including all our employees. And you just have to keep remembering that if you do things with passion and you really believe in it, the success will come if you believe in it. So
Yeah, and on the Oregon Trail, you got to think the parents of the people going on the trail were probably pretty pissed, and all their friends are like, "What are you doing? Going out in the middle of nowhere?" And Aubry always told me from the start, if people don't hate you, you're doing something wrong. Is that right?
That's right.
That's what you always told me.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you start any new thing, when you start any new venture, or embark on a dream finally you've been meaning to do for a long time, people might hate you. You might lose friends. We don't have any friends anymore, That's for different reasons.
it's all the people we pay.
Yeah. But there's going to be some growing pains along the way. There's going to be, the sleepless nights, the sweaty mornings. Sweaty mornings. Creative mornings, excuse me. Sorry. But yeah, you just gotta power through them, and you gotta know that what you're doing is gonna make a difference. What you're doing is gonna help create a better tomorrow. What you're gonna do is gonna change minds, affect people for generations, hopefully. So you gotta work through those growing pains, and
You gotta also not read social media comments on articles.
oh, those hurt. When we first opened, people wanted our execution.
Yeah, people called for our execution because we called ourselves butchers. And to that I say, I dare you to make a vegan meat from nothing.
Yeah, you make a steak from wheat. Cool.
Yeah, so, wow, gee, thanks, y'all.
Yeah, thank you. Yep.